He's Mike Bresnahan, the great beat writer for the Lakers, LA Times, who joins us on the program. So, if you're going to sum up what you saw last night, Mike, how would you start?
How much time do we have? About half an hour? 45 minutes?
You'll need more than that.
More Laker mediocrity. I mean, they were pretty shabby in the first half. Made a game of it, down by 5 with 6 minutes to go. Did not score again. Why should anyone be surprised? It's everything this team has done the entire season, not lived up to the expectations. 2-13 now against the top 5 teams in the West. That's the Lakers right there.
If they make the playoffs, is it false hope for their fans?
I think so. Although the one thing that they can still kind of grasp, they can still hold on to, Pau Gasol is coming back in about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. At that point, you say, all right, everybody's on the court. Can they make a late season run? I just don't sense, A, the playoffs for sure right now, and B, that they can beat a team like Oklahoma or the Clippers, who just crushed them a couple weeks ago by 24 in a Laker home game, and nor can they beat a team like San Antonio. It just doesn't look like it's going to be anything more than a first-round flame-out, if that, right now.
And I know you see this on a nightly basis, but their transition defense, it's to the point where it's embarrassing. And I don't know if it's effort or age, but, or is it a combo platter there?
Yeah, it sounds like a combo platter, Dan. I mean, they lost 33-3 in fast break points to Denver last week. I actually, last night when I looked at the box score, they only lost 22-6 in fast break points to Oklahoma. I said, that's not that bad. That's a good game for the Lakers. It's amazing. It's too much age in the backcourt. You know, Nash is now 39, Kobe's 34. These guys just can't beat a guy like a Russell Westbrook back down the court on a game-by-game basis. It just is not happening for them.
What about Kobe's injury?
Kind of a freak thing. He kept kind of trying to shake it out. He got what they call a contusion of the ulnar nerve, better known as a bruised funny bone. And he just lost feeling in it. He left the game for a few minutes, went to the locker room. Every Laker fan's worst nightmare right there, as if the season wasn't already bad enough. But he came back a little bit later in the first quarter and actually shot pretty well, surprisingly. He had to adjust his shot, said he didn't have a lot of follow-through, had to snap his wrist a little more quickly so as not to aggravate that ulnar nerve. But he played pretty well. It really wasn't his fault. Kind of like the microcosm of the season. Kobe plays well. No one else does.
He's Mike Bresnahan, LA Times Laker writer, joining us. Dan Patrick Show. You know, Laker fans always chime in and say, why are you so hard on Dwight Howard? You know, he's coming back from injury. And I can't believe that he's invisible at times. And that's my problem, that even if you can't do it offensively, maybe you're not getting your touches, then do it defensively or vice versa. He just seems to drift sometimes. It's almost like he loses focus out there. Ferdinand the Bull, where he just sort of, going along, and this is pretty cool, and then he'll show spots of flashes. But it's got to be mind-boggling for D'Antoni to just say, where's the consistency with him?
Yeah, and he's still not 100%. He just said yesterday, after I had back surgery last April, I could right now just be coming back to start this season. And you say, okay, did you come back too early? No, I felt this team had a really good chance, and a lot of guys had really small windows on this team, a.k.a. Nash and Kobe. So I wanted to come back in November and do it for the guys, but he just doesn't look like himself, Dan. And last night he kind of did it to himself. He was 1 for 7 in the first half, did not get one shot in the second half. And when a guy goes 1 for 7, including a missed alley-oop dunk, a missed left-handed hook shot, at least I think it was a hook shot, he kind of brings it on himself. You don't really blame Kobe and Nash for just saying, hey, let's just pass the ball to each other and see how we do.
How do you not score in the second half?
Yeah, that's shocking, isn't it? I mean, you've got to at least get him interested. If you've got the ball in the backcourt for the Lakers, you've got to at least try to involve him. And it just didn't happen, and almost rightly so. It's just a strange phenomenon, the whole Dwight Howard phenomenon. And does he come back next season? I wrote a couple weeks ago, it was about a 25% chance. He said a couple things and Mitch Kupchak, the Laker GM, came on his side and said, hey, he's our future. I'm going to revise it from 30%. I'm sorry, from 25% to 30%. It's been a big couple weeks for Dwight.
Okay, but give me the options there, just so everybody understands. What are the possibilities for Dwight Howard? Can there be a sign and trade? I know he makes more money if he stays with the Lakers. If he, does he want to play elsewhere? Does he understand why he doesn't want to play in L.A. Or he now does understand why he wants to be in L.A.?
I think it did help him mentally when Mitch Kupchak did come out a couple weeks ago and say, hey, we consider him to be the cornerstone. All right, Kobe's only got one more year on his contract. It's a pretty big year, $30.5 million. And then no one knows what Kobe's going to do. And when he does come back to the Lakers, if he does decide to, it'll be on the Lakers' terms in 2 years, probably about half that $30 million that he'll be making next season. And Dwight just needs to weigh, hey, can I handle? He could sign a 5-year deal for about $120 million. Can I handle at least 1 year where I'm not the big guy? And I think right now he's probably thinking, I need to see what happens over the next month and a half. A night like last night, when I asked him after the game, did you mind not getting a shot in the second half? And he goes, yeah. I think a night like last night definitely does not help his cause as far as coming back to the Lakers.
Could you ever see Kobe playing for somebody else after this contract's up?
I can't. Maybe a team like the Knicks or the Bulls, obviously a huge market. It would be weird. He'll be in his 18th season next year with the Lakers, and, he's still playing really well. That's the thing. But he will not be like a Michael Jordan who ended his career averaging, 11 points a game, 12 points a game for a real sad sack Washington Wizards team. Kobe's going to go out on his terms, and he'll be scoring in the 20s for sure when he does finally decide to retire.
If you were handicapping the West with Oklahoma City and the Spurs, throw in the Clippers, I don't know if there's anybody else that enters the picture. Team to beat, and who do you think will be in the West Finals?
It's funny. When Oklahoma City traded James Harden a few months ago, I said, all right, that's it. They're done. They're toast. But then, you see them last night, and their speed is just so amazing. Their shot blocking is incredible with Ibaka and Kendrick Perkins. Obviously, Durant. Kevin Martin's solid off the bench. Collison's a nice energy guy down low for them. I'm going to stick with them right now, especially with Tony Parker out for at least another, 3.5 weeks with that sprained ankle. I think it's Oklahoma City's conference to lose. The Clippers at some point, and maybe it's already happening, they're going to wake up and say, oh, yeah, we're the Clippers. We don't belong here.
But I said to Chris Paul, Mike, that they're going to regret not getting KG. There's an element that is missing with that team, and it's in the final quarter where you just see those intangibles, and they're missing that person. Am I wrong in that?
No, I think you're right. They just lost a bad home game to the Thunder a few days ago, and it was all on display. Just not quite any other closer on that team besides Chris Paul. And they are missing that tenacity down low, that veteran leadership down low. He would have been a great fit for that team. At what cost, we don't really know. Obviously, it did not happen, but if they had him, I'd feel a little bit better about their playoff chances.
Finish the sentence. If the Lakers lose to the Bobcats.
Well, they play the Hornets.
Or Hornets, I should say.
Yeah, or Pelicans, whatever we want to call them.
Yeah.
It's pretty much over. They can't. Their margin for error is so small right now, Dan. They can't lose any of these crummy teams that they're supposed to win. So if they lose tonight to the Hornets, they're in big trouble. Big trouble.
Safe travels. Great to talk to you again. Thanks for getting up, Mike.
All right, anytime, Dan.
All right, Mike Bresnahan, great Lakers beat writer.